Hey, do you ever read a cooking manga and get tired when every character has an orgasm when they eat the food? Well, what if I found one that was even weirder? Welcome, friends. I'm Merlin with a Y, a certain famous wizard's less talented but more attractive cousin. And I'm here to talk about a cooking manga that, while not reinventing the genre or anything, manages to take a story format that we've all seen before and add a pinch of comedy and a whole heap of weirdness. This is Using My Cooking Skills in a Murim World, and I want to talk about it because I want you to go through what I did. So the story follows a Korean chef who dreamed of mastering Chinese cuisine. However, when he went to study abroad in China, he was turned away from everywhere, as he had no connections, or guanji, as it's called. Ah, nepotism. Same shit, different name. After getting swallowed by a whale, don't think about it, he gets reborn into the body of Ryu Cheung-woon, a naked guy in a river. Trapped in China during the Song Dynasty, he spent his life savings, what savings he had I don't know, on his very own inn. Now he can fulfill his new dream of running his own restaurant/inn. But there is one problem. You see, this isn't just the Song Dynasty. This is Murim. And if there's one thing martial artists are great at, it's not starting fights on other people's property. They definitely don't cause ridiculous amounts of property damage for working class people, and if they did fight, they especially don't do it for the slightest inconvenience. Everyone knows that the people in these sorts of stories are well-adjusted, calm, reasonable people who practice martial arts to help focus their minds and spirits, to live better, healthier lives. What a great customer base. But in all seriousness, yeah, these people have no respect for property damage, and Cheung-woon is forced to pay the price for it. I know it's his dream and all, but nothing sounds worse than being the shop owner that gets repeatedly fucked over when the main character gets into a conflict.
My cabbages!
But no worries, because even though in his last life he had no connections, Cheung-woon is about to make some influential friends that'll make his new life a lot more interesting. Altogether, it's a nice food manga, but what makes it special are the weird little quirks of the series. From this weird little gremlin creature that sticks with the main character and is obsessed with food, the group of socially awkward murder barbarians that I relate to far more than I should, the memes and facial expressions that I am definitely saving to a folder on my desktop to share with my friends, or the utterly inconsistent art style that goes from incredibly unique and beautiful art to characters looking like stuffed sausages. There's just the right amount of randomness in this series that would feel out of place in most manhwa, but here it works. From an ancient Chinese rap battle to the most wholesome group of murderers I've ever seen, this manhwa made me laugh at the dumbest stuff. The series is full of weirdness that gives it a different feel to most cooking manga and manhwa I've followed. But no self-respecting cooking manga is complete without two things: delicious food and over-the-top reactions to delicious food. Now I'm sure you've seen the foodgasms of Shokugeki no Soma. Well, I'm here to introduce you to whatever the fuck this is. That's right, now you know my pain. Now, series like Shokugeki no Soma use the foodgasms as a way to get some over-the-top fan service and grab everyone's attention. But this manhwa chose a different route. They just said, fuck it, I want to get weird with it. And that is 100% my energy. Almost every single food reaction is batshit crazy enough that I have to send it to my friends to see if they are indeed seeing what I am seeing. Don't worry, they do have a bit of fan service now and then, but it's more tasteful. Or at least as tasteful as you can get when you pull an ahegao face while eating. And no, I'm not going to show that. But over-the-top reactions would mean nothing if the food isn't good, or at least for us readers, good to look at. After all, no one jizzes in their pants from eating cupped ramen. Well, I can think of one guy. Cheung-woon truly loves and appreciates Chinese cuisine, and every dish he makes shows it. I love Chinese food, and every dish he makes is on a list of foods I want to try if I ever visit the country. From black bean noodles to seafood jampong. Jampong. Each dish looks so good, I believe it when the characters change their entire life after eating it. I know food and entertainment usually looks way better than actual everyday food, but it looks so good I want to try it anyway. Well, maybe not that one. But hell, for a series that often draws the main character like this, when he is cooking, he goes from the sad sausage to a work of art. I mean, look at this. It's glorious. But there's another reason why his food is so good. Not just his passion, skills, and modern technique. He has something that trumps all of that. A suspicious white powder that makes everything 1,000 times better. That's right. He has MSG! He has that make shit good powder. The stuff that makes all other seasonings look bitch made. Using his knowledge of food science, he was able to create MSG in the Song Dynasty, and no one is ready for it. This might very well become the first Uncle Roger approved cooking manga. But everything from the food to the weirdness to the art style completely matches my tastes in the best way possible. That's not to say the series is perfect. The series makes it clear that connections and nepotism is everything. It implies that in China, both modern and ancient, connections are all that matters, with Chung Woon only being treated well when he develops his own connections with influential people, and those without those connections are left to go for the scraps, either lying about having connections or being stuck where they are. I spoke to some of my Chinese friends that are from the motherland, and they made it clear that while Guanji is important, it is more complicated than that. Normally, when going to study abroad in China, you would have a company or school act as an agent that would be your connection. Yet somehow, Chung Woon was somehow able to skip that whole process, which was why he floundered so much when he went to China. Guanji is still very important to Chinese people, but it's not the end-all be-all that it implies in the manhwa. Granted, this is a Korean story about ancient China, and I'm sure relations mattered a lot more in ancient China than it does in modern China. The author most likely went over the top with the nepotism in modern China just to set the theme for the story. The theme definitely applies more to ancient China, but it's not completely inaccurate to modern China, just overblown to make a point. The series does imply that with enough hard work you can overcome the lack of connections, but it feels like it's saying that's the exception, not the rule. Even with my research and the help of my Chinese friends, this is still a complicated issue that I'm probably not equipped to talk about, at least at the moment. But I wanted to make sure that I don't make any implications, that I didn't do at least a little research on. And overall, this is a very small nitpick with the series that is only really applicable to the first chapter of the manhwa, so I'd say that the negatives are such a small issue that it's pretty negligible. And again, I'm a wizard who runs a YouTube channel. I have the power to channel magic, but for now, doing a deep review and analysis on East Asian hierarchical structures in response to a short manhwa is beyond my power and ability. But these are just my thoughts. I hope you'll check this series out and tell me what you think. This is a unique series that I think you'd have a hard time finding anywhere else. While the characters and relationships aren't as developed as I'd like them to be, there's certainly something brewing under the surface. The art can go from beautiful to disgusting to mediocre, then back to beautiful over the course of a few panels. And rather than being distracting, I actually feel that it gives the series a unique feel that matches it perfectly. And overall, this is a cooking manhwa that not only makes me want to try new foods I haven't before, but also makes me laugh in ways that most series would struggle with. And really, isn't that what's most important? I really think that people would like this series if they gave it a try. But let me know what you thought about this video. What do you think of the shorter video? I'm still trying to find my style, so I'm experimenting a little bit with each video. Please comment your thoughts, any feedback would be appreciated. I'm Merlin with a Y, and thank you for listening to this old man ramble.
Yes! 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 Oh! 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 Oh, God.
I'll have what she's having.